It was a great experience to be able to captain him being in the side. It was really cool. And while Virat's at the crease, a bit of a pain to play against in a way. Some of the shots that we saw were vintage Rishabh Pant, and only he can play those shots. Rishabh, on the other hand, I think he started quite well. You guys just keep producing gun young batters. I'd almost like to see a change in mentality with RCB. You need the other guys making consistent runs.
All right, hello and welcome to a very special episode of #AskStar, which is perhaps the easiest show for me to do, because all that I have to do really is just ask the questions that you guys have asked. So I've got them all here. Steve Smith is here. Steve, are you ready? These are questions from the viewers. They're not lenient.
All right.
I am. I'm your friend. I can be lenient, not these guys.
All right.
Shall we fire the first one?
Let's do it.
All right. The first one is from Nikita Bagwi. And she asks, what is more difficult? Winning the World Cup or being a cricket expert? That's a good one. That's a good one, Nikita. Well done.
What's more difficult? Yeah, it's tough. Being a cricket expert is hard. Winning a World Cup is harder though. So I'm going to go with that.
What are the hard parts of being a cricket expert though? Now that you are one.
Lots of analysis, lots of reading up about different players, watching lots of games really closely. But it has been fun. I have enjoyed my first experience as a cricket expert.
That actually is the second question from Vicky Jain, who asks, hello Steve, what is your best moment as an expert with the Star Sports Network?
Ooh,
pick just one.
Good question. Maybe doing one of the master classes potentially, talking about Heinrich Klaassen perhaps. He's been unbelievable, hasn't he? Just breaking down how he smacks the ball out of the park. That's probably right up there.
Vicky Jain also asks, how do you like Tanay Tiwari as a host?
He's okay. He's okay.
Stop it! I knew it! I knew it. All right. Next question is from yours truly, Harsha, and he asks, how was it to captain MS Dhoni in your team in 2017, since he's so used to captaincy in the IPL? Any fun memory that you'd like to share? It's interesting.
Oh, I mean, it was a pretty successful season, wasn't it? We got to the final. We probably should have won that final, chasing 120 odd. We messed that one up, but no, it was a wonderful experience. I enjoyed it. It was great to have MS there behind the stumps, looking at all the angles. Obviously, has such an aura with particularly the young Indian players. So yeah, it was a great experience to be able to captain him being in the side. It was really cool.
What was that conversation like when you got to know that you were going to lead that side and MS was going to play under you? What was the dynamic like at that point?
Yeah, I was like, I hope this has all been done the right way. You know, I didn't want to step on anyone's toes, particularly MS. So yeah, I was basically making sure that everything was all good. And no, he was wonderful. He was supportive, and yeah, we had a successful year, and he was a big part of that.
Next question is, hi Steve, you've played a lot against Virat Kohli in the past. What makes him so different from the others, and any off-field memories that you'd like to share? And this is from im.ash45.
Oh, I don't know about off-field memories, I'm not sure, but yeah, look, he's such a wonderful player, particularly chasing. He's probably, well, he's the best chaser that the game's seen, I think. So his ability to just win the game from any situation, and while Virat's at the crease, you know the game's not done. So yeah, he's been a bit of a pain to play against in a way, but yeah, it's always nice to witness someone do something so special, and he's done it on numerous occasions.
I was actually about to ask that, because this is my #AskStar question to you. When you're leading against Virat Kohli, especially when he's in that zone, chasing, pumped up after a shot, does that get annoying as an opposing captain? You're like, stop this man, where is his battery, just take it out?
Oh, it's extremely annoying, and he's done it on too many occasions. So yeah, it's always nice to see the back of him. So but yeah, we've seen some incredible innings when he's played against us as well. So it's nice to watch when he's in full flight, but you'd wish him to do it against another opposition.
All right, the next question is from Crick Crazy Nix, who asks, how difficult is it to control the emotions when you're making a comeback from such a difficult situation in life? And he's talking about Rishabh Pant, because we've seen the range of emotions that everyone's had, including Rishabh Pant, after that accident. For him to make a comeback and almost bat like the Rishabh Pant of the old. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's obviously been a huge road for him to get back to playing cricket, and yeah, firstly, it's just wonderful to see him back out on the field and doing what he loves. And I think in his first couple of games, he he didn't quite get into his work as we know. You know, he got some nice starts and batted the same way in the third game, but went on with it. And I thought the way he played in the third game was outstanding. Some of the shots that we saw were vintage Rishabh Pant, and only he can play those shots. So yeah, no doubt it's been an emotional couple of weeks coming back to the game that he loves. But yeah, as I said, it's just great to see him back. He's such a superstar.
Next one is from @IG_Arnold. And he asks, is there any rivalry in the IPL that reminds you of the famous Ashes rivalry?
Ooh. I think Chennai and Mumbai are a big one. You know, they're obviously the two most successful franchises, so anytime they come up against each other, it's a much anticipated battle.
Up next, the MI-CSK rivalry. We'll see two new captains this time, Hardik Pandya and Ruturaj Gaikwad. What are your opinions on Hardik Pandya's and Ruturaj's captaincy? And this is from Dil Hai Cricket.
I think it's too early to say too much. Obviously, Mumbai haven't got off to the greatest start this season, but that's not rare for them, is it? They tend to start slow. But I think they've had a few technical blunders, a few blunders in their tactics in the first couple of games. One that came to mind was the game against Hyderabad, where Bumrah didn't come on and bowl. He only bowled one over in the first 13 overs, I think it was. So there's been a few things that I think they could have done a little bit better. Ruturaj, on the other hand, I think he started quite well. He's got into the job nicely. He's got MS there, who's obviously supporting him and helping him in any way that he can. So the more he does, the more he's going to get better at different things within the game. So I think he started quite well.
Asmaj, you've actually captained an IPL side, and these are two new captains, Ruturaj Gaikwad and Hardik Pandya, of two of the most successful franchises in the competition. Is there just an added pressure when you're leading in the IPL? Just the crowds, wherever you go, the relentless nature of the schedule of the tournament?
I mean, two huge shoes to fill in both Rohit and MS, so there's definitely pressure, but I think as much as possible they've got to try and just let that go and get on with the business and do what they can to help their respective franchises win games and ultimately win a tournament. But yeah, I'm excited to see how these two guys go about it.
The next one is from Nishal Singh, who asks, which youngster has impressed you the most in this IPL season so far? And there have been quite a few. Mayank Yadav, Ankush Raghuvanshi, Riyan Parag, or anyone else?
I was very impressed with Ankush in his first innings. He showed signs of, he looked a lot like Shubman Gill the way he played a couple of his shots, and he looked like he had a lot of time at the crease. He played some beautiful shots the other night, and a bit of innovation as well with the reverse scoop. So yeah, I mean, you guys just keep producing in gun young batters, and it looks like another one coming through. So I've been impressed with him.
Then there's Mayank Yadav, that pace.
He's been good too, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Just blown them away with sheer pace. So it's been exciting. Let's hope he can keep it up.
Actually, the Indians get very excited when they see that kind of pace, and when they see Aussie batters getting hurried for pace, and we saw that with Glenn Maxwell and Cameron Green in that encounter. That's a sight for sore eyes.
Two international players getting hurried. It's he was bowling proper pace the other day, and hopefully we can continue to see it.
All right, Steve, as a former captain yourself, what advice would you offer Sanju Samson, the current captain, to help him excel in his leadership role? This is from Sports Tiger Official.
None at the moment. I think he's doing pretty well. They've started the season off beautifully. I think the Royals this year have a really well-rounded side. I think for me they've actually gone into favourites for the title. The way they've started the tournament, Trent Boult taking wickets in the first over consistently, one if not two. They've got really good middle order batters. Riyan Parag's come on this season and he's had a really good impact. And two quality spinners in Ashwin and Yuzi. So I think they're a force to be reckoned with this year, and I don't really have much to say to Sanju. I think he's been outstanding so far.
Now there's another team that has perhaps the best fan base in India. Some argue that arguably they're the biggest and the best fan base, and that's RCB. This season, the way they've started, the fans are not enjoying the performances, and we have one question. Namma Team RCB Official asks, Glenn Maxwell, Faf du Plessis and Cameron Green haven't been at their best so far. Is it an issue of form, or are there any technical changes that RCB's overseas batters need to make going forward?
And yes, they haven't fired. Virat's been outstanding in a few occasions, but You need the other guys to support him. He's not going to score runs every single game, and you need those guys to be making consistent runs, particularly when they're pretty heavy in the batting focus with overseas players as well. So I'd almost like to see a change in mentality with RCB. I'd like 2 overseas bowlers, Reece Topley and Lockie Ferguson in the lineup, and then that would probably shift Green out of that side, and I think that just suits the balance of the side even more. But we need a lot more from the middle order from Bangalore, that's for sure.
That's right. Now to a question from I am Abhas Raj, who asks, oh, this is a good one. Which is your favourite World Cup, 2015 or 2023? It's quite a choice to make, right?
It is a tough question. Winning in India is an extremely difficult task. But for me, 2015 is probably, that's one of my favourite times in my life. I think the winning the World Cup at home is incredibly special. That whole entire campaign was great, playing around different grounds in Australia and the support we had there. So I'm going to have to say 2015.
All right, and finally, only Prathamesh asks, who do you think are the favourites to win the IPL this year and why?
Rajasthan Royals. I think just their squad is so well rounded. I'm really enjoying the way they're playing at the moment. They've got every base covered. I think they're the ones to beat this year.
All right then, that's all the questions that you guys ask. Make sure you keep sending them in. #AskStar. Big thanks to Steve Smith for joining in. I have some questions as well, but I don't think he's going to answer them. He said no to me at the start, so it's okay. I'll keep convincing him, you guys.